Imagine this. You are out at sea, deep sea fishing with your family for a vacation. It's the middle of summer, the sun is up in the sky, the weather is warm, and there's a nice breeze blowing your way as you stand on the deck of the boat that you're in. As you're waiting for a fish to bite the hook, you decide to take a seat at the edge of the boat and relax. All of a sudden, your dad decides to be a comedian and pushes you into the water. At first, you're caught off guard by the shove, but then you realize that it was just your dad playing a harmless prank on you. As you swim around the boat to get into the platform, you look down out of curiosity, and there you see it. Not a fish, shark, or a whale, but rather, you see the deep and dark ocean, with no ocean floor to be seen, thus making you wonder what could be down there, staring back at you. The term thalassophobia, not to be confused with aquaphobia, means the persistent and intense fear of deep bodies of water, such as the oceans, seas, or the lakes. The word comes from Greek origins, the words being both thalassa and phobia. Thalassa meaning sea, and phobia meaning fear. This fear is not only quite common, but also dates back to around 600 BCE, when it was recorded that the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius had an irrational fear of large bodies of water he could possibly drown in. The fear of the ocean has been a big part of us as a human species. We see it in movies, games, and even in old maps where we marked rough, dangerous seas with drawings of sea beasts that were said to be bloodthirsty creatures as big as boats and mighty enough to break a ship with ease. And these myths and legends have led to the creations of a ton of sci-fi fiction movies and games, of course. One of them being a great and well-known game under the name of Subnautica. Spoilers of gameplay and a little bit of story ahead. The game of Subnautica takes place on an alien planet. The planet's name is 4546b. 4546b is a planet that consists mainly of water, similar to what may be its real-life counterpart planet Gliese 1214b. But besides that, in the game, you were on a space expedition that went slightly wrong. However, lucky you, you are what seems to be the one and only survivor of the crash, and this is the start of the game. The game, like you'd guess, takes place in the ocean for most of the time, and that's where the thalassophobia comes in. At first, you start the game off in a biome called the Safe Shallows, and like you'd guess, it's mostly safe. Not only is it safe during the daytime, but also during the night. The Safe Shallow is a place for you to get the hang of the game and also get comfortable with the gameplay. The fun starts when you enter to the crash zone, as in this place, there's a creature called the Reaper Leviathan, and the one thing it's good at is terrorizing you during the gameplay. And if this guy isn't enough, come with me to the edge of the map and let me introduce you to the crater's edge, also known as the ecological dead zone or the abyss. This specific zone does a great job at giving you that fear of deep water. When you first swim over and look down, you can't see anything that's down there, making you feel lonely, small, and scared, as you don't know what could be down there. That little creature you see right here is a ghost leviathan. The ghost leviathan is known for being quite a territorial being. Not only that, but in one attack, it can get rid of 84% of the player's health, making it a dangerous creature. And if you encounter one, best thing you can do is simply run away from it, because if you were to try to fight it, it'd be a lost cause. Eventually, it will break your ship, and you'll be stranded in the middle of nowhere, as it hunts you down so it can seal your fate. Now, I'm not a huge fan of going over movies in these videos, because for me at least, it's kinda hard to talk about a movie without giving too many spoilers and also ruining the thrill of watching the movie itself. But I will say, Under Paris is an amazing movie. Not only does it have sharks, which is already bad enough for some people, but it also looks into the trauma that a scientist has to face as she has to help get rid of a shark that has taken over the Seine River. But of course, I'm just gonna leave it at that, because, well, I don't want to go over too much of the movie without having to, spoil it. However, I will say there are other great movies as well. And some examples would be 47 Meters Down, Underwater, which amazing movie by the way, and also The Reef. These are some amazing movies I found while looking through into this phobia. So of course, although they're not the only ones, there are some that stood out to me pretty well. So I would also recommend watching them as well. Thalassophobia is a perfect example of a primal fear, a fear of another world. And although for time reasons I couldn't explain it all, stay tuned for a deep dive into the fear, in which I'll not only be talking more about it, but most importantly, I'll also be looking into how different the ocean was in the past. This has been Leorigin Dives, and I hope to see you next time.